Now let's talk about gear. More specifically, vlogging gear. Now over the last year, we've seen so many camera brands coming out with great products with crazy specs that inevitably the list of camera gear that you want to own will always grow longer. Now, is that a bad thing? No, it's a great thing for companies to be competing with each other, to innovate on their technologies and bring more advancements to the space. However, as a content creator and more specifically a vlogger, there are a couple of key accessories and pieces of equipment that I use on a daily basis that really help speed up my entire workflow. Now you might be asking yourself, what exactly is the best vlogging setup? Obviously it comes down to your personal preferences. However, today I'm going to be breaking down my own personal setup as well as a couple of upgrades I'm looking to make. So for anyone out there who's looking to create content in 2022, here's your perfect vlogging setup. Alright, so first things first, we're obviously talking about our camera body, and for the past year I've been exclusively using the Sony a7S III as my main body, and I've got to say this is probably my personal favorite vlogging camera as well as videography camera because the image quality I've gotten from this camera is honestly spectacular. There are so many different codecs and film rates and picture profiles that I can film in. I really don't feel limited by my camera's capabilities, and really more so only from my creative standpoint. Now obviously yes, the Sony a7S III is a very expensive camera. However, for someone like me who is a content creator, who's a videographer, a freelancer, it really only makes sense for me to be investing in the highest quality equipment that I know I'm going to get the most return on my investment from. However, this is a camera that I literally use on a daily basis, so the investment almost pays itself off in the long run. However, if something like the a7S III isn't in your price range at the moment, there are two other options I can recommend. The first one is going to be the Sony a7C, which is also a full frame camera, which comes in at a fraction of the cost, so pretty much gives you the same quality in a smaller size. However, if you're looking for the most budget friendly and portable option, the camera I can recommend right now is the Sony ZV-1. Now this is a camera that Sony released last year, but it was really geared towards content creators as that perfect all-in-one vlogging camera where they really simplified all the button and layout, so it's super easy to just flip the screen open, hit record, and you're ready to roll. The Sony ZV-1 does shoot in 4K, which is great, especially if I want to match it with my other Sony profiles. However, if you are looking to make that step up and you're someone like me who uses professional cameras on a daily basis, then regardless of whatever camera you're working with, today I'm really going to be focusing on the vlogging aspects of things and picking out a couple of products that I know are going to be able to speed up my workflow and get you shooting smarter, faster, and better. So we're going to have to make a run to B&H. I got outside to start filming, I realized I left my battery at the house and I was already on the subway, so I literally ordered another battery on my way here so I can start filming the rest of this video. You're kidding me. It really doesn't come charged? Oh my god. Alright, so I'm literally using the B&H cameras to test out this footage, but right now I'm filming on the a7S III, which is basically my same camera, but I've also got the 12 to 24, and this is a crazy wide zoom lens. This is all the way at 12, and this is at 24. I wonder if I started vlogging like this, but the lens is literally massive. Let me show you guys. But the quality you get from this thing is pretty insane, even though this lens literally costs like $2,000. However, another really great option, like I was mentioning in the beginning, is going to be this a7C, which comes in this form factor right here. Similarly, it does have that flip out screen, and this is actually the lens I was kind of thinking about purchasing today. It's a 20mm f1.8, so I'm very curious to see how this combo shoots. Alright, so I got everything I needed from B&H. I'll explain a little bit of what I picked up as well as how I'm going to use it to build my perfect vlogging setup. But right now I'm actually by the Oculus in the World Trade Center, which always looks super dope. So I'm going to try and get a quick time lapse, and I'm also meeting a buddy for lunch. So let's get this time lapse going. Alright, so I'm with my boy Rohan. We're gonna grab a little bite to eat and then just do a little bit of work at his place. Alright, so we're back at Rohan's apartment, but let me tell you guys that his view is literally insane. So Rohan actually lives in the financial district, which is on the southern part of the island, but man, these views are crazy. Alright, so first up, I've picked up another Sony battery. These actually are the Sony branded ones, and they actually run a little bit longer than generic batteries. They are a little bit pricey, coming in at $80, but it's always a good idea to have at least one backup. And then I also picked up a couple more rolls of film. This one right here is Cine Still 500, and I also picked up Ektar 100 and then Kodak Gold 200. These are all film stocks I've never shot with, so I'm very interested to see how these turn out. And I also picked up a Joby Gorilla Pod head, and hopefully be able to use this as a quick release plate. Then I also decided to pick up this Deity dual mic, and the really cool thing about this is that it's actually got a mic in the front and in the back. It's actually pretty affordable, coming in at around $65. So let's swap out the mics and see how it sounds. Alright, so this is what the mic looks like. You've got your front microphone and your rear microphone, and then you just put your dead cats on. Alright, so this is what the microphone sounds like when it's set on the front microphone. Alright, so now I switched the setting and my buddy's behind the mic, so let's see what it sounds like.
Testing, what's up?
What's up, bro? How are you?
I'm good.
I hope it sounds crisp.
I hope so too. You spend a lot of money.
So let us know what you guys thought down below. Does the dual microphone actually work? And I'm excited to see how it sounds when I review this playback. Alright, so time to switch out the tripod head and let's see if this works. Alright, so there's one part of the build that I haven't mentioned yet. It's actually going to be this quick release plate right here. And as you guys can see, it kind of just like slides in here and then locks. But it's hard to show you as I'm filming. And then just boom. And this quick release plate is actually from PGY Tech, so it will also be linked in the description down below. But it's been a great addition to making this setup just break down so much faster. So we are out here literally right by the Flatiron building, which is under construction, but I'm meeting up with Beck now that she just got off work. We ordered Thai food to go for dinner, which should be pretty bomb. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I use as my daily vlogging setup. This has definitely been my main run and gun equipment for probably the past year, and every single time I'm using it, I'm always looking for ways to be a little bit more efficient and a little bit faster. So I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like down below. Let me know what other videos you guys are trying to see. And as always, folks, don't stress.
Oh, hey there.
Don't stress. Finesse.
Peace.
Peace. Alright, now like I said, when you're vlogging, you want to make your setup time as efficient as possible so you're not running around trying to put everything together and you've already missed your shot. So for example, let's take my current setup and see how long it would take me to build out. Obviously my body and lens are probably going to stay together, but first off I've got to put on a microphone, which takes a couple of seconds, got to screw it on and then plug it into the mic jack. And then usually I carry around with me this small tripod, so I got to screw this in, screw that on, turn the camera on, flip the screen out, hit record, and I'm ready to start rolling. Now that whole process probably took about a minute, but especially when you're run and gun filmmaking, even a minute could mean that you've already missed your shot. So I've been doing a little bit of brainstorming and trying to figure out how I can make this process a little bit more seamless, and I've got a couple of ideas. I really had no problems with it other than the fact that it is pretty bulky and kind of an inconvenient form factor for me to carry around comfortably. So let's break it down and start from the basics. Am I willing to switch out my Sony a7S III for a different type of body that may be a little bit more compact but not have as much features and get as good quality? No, I'm sorry to say, but the a7S III is probably going to be my main vlogging camera. Even though the a7C does have a slightly smaller form factor, still gives you that great quality. There's just something about the a7S III that has been unmatched for me. That is hard for me to let go as a main vlogging camera. And second up, let's talk about the lens. This right here is a 16-35 G Master 2.8, which is a very expensive lens, and B, very big and very heavy, meaning that in order for me to just have a wide angle lens while I'm vlogging, this is basically the footprint I'm working with. So am I willing to make a compromise of having a zoom lens with that shallow aperture while still getting that superb image quality? I'm not exactly sure yet, and that's one thing I want to test out, is if I should swap out for a different lens. I've seen a couple of options out there for a Sony 20mm 1.8, which I think is still a pretty wide enough focal length, but still has a low aperture and is a lot smaller and cheap, which I think could be a pretty good run and gun setup. So that's my first dilemma. Now the second dilemma is this microphone. This is the Rode Video Micro, and it comes in at around a price tag of $60, and this has literally been the main microphone I've been using for the past year and a half. I've literally had no problems with it. It's reliable because you don't have to turn anything on, just plug it straight into the camera and it will start recording. However, obviously it's $60, so you're not getting the best quality. You turn this dial all the way in to make sure it's tight. You gotta plug in the cable, and overall the dead cat is pretty hefty. It kind of has an odd shape and doesn't sit too neatly on top of the camera. So my second thing is I gotta figure out a better mic option. And then the last component of the whole setup is this tripod, and this has really been kind of a DIY tripod. I basically just have this tripod head, which I've stolen from another tripod, and then I got it connected to this really small desktop stand, which you usually use on the bottom of a gimbal, and then combined together is how you get this really small tripod setup. However, I'm looking for something that's a little bit more easy to use and takes less time to set up, so that's the third thing I'm gonna have to find. This might be hard. All right, now here's what I'm thinking is the ideal setup. This has been a recent addition to the setup that my brother has got me, and it's called the Switch Pod because all you have to do is go, and now you basically have your own tripod. The convenient thing about this is that yes, you can fold it up and then hold it out as you normally would like a regular tripod, and then you just have to just kind of flip it together. Now pros, obviously it's pretty quick to set up, it's lightweight, and it's made out of metal, so I know it's not going to get damaged in any weather conditions. The shape of this is a little bit peculiar. It's not something that can easily fit in the side of a bag like a water bottle, and it doesn't really fit neatly inside any of my camera bags. However, the portability of this is still pretty convenient, so I'm thinking of an alternative. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I have all the parts I need for the setup, so we're gonna have to make a run to B&H.